Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is May 22nd, 2023, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, we're watching CISCO, the networking technology giant from the United States, continue to extend its gains. But first, no major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, watching the Canadian dollar weaken versus USD, and looking at the indices, the NASDAQ does taper off, but holding on to its gains while the Dow Jones trades lower. Now looking at commodities, gold bouncing off that support while oil tapering lower. And looking at the stocks, it's Microsoft this time that is leading the pack and still holding on to its gains. While lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin really unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So the markets have tapered off when it comes to the Forex symbol. Starting out with the Euro USD, you could look at a 1 hour chart just bouncing off of this low, but really not doing much. I mean, on a daily chart, we are hitting supportish level on the Euro USD, but not there completely. So keep that in mind as we're looking there. Now looking at the Canadian dollar, this is where it got a little bit weaker to 135 versus the USD. If you look at that, it's at the top of the range. But again, it's not doing much. I mean, we're in a 20 to 30 pip move. Okay, so we're in really a very, very tight range. So almost not tradable, to tell you the truth. So just bear with me as you look at it. Now, the Turkish Lira has gotten weaker. If we look at that one also, 1982. Now, last week it was trading 19. It's ever so slowly, okay? This is just a grind. This is really just watching paint dry. But it is getting weaker versus the US dollar. So it might be like a, you want to sell the Turkish Lira and buy the dollar, okay, as it goes up, okay? You can do that and just hold on to it for a few days and just take advantage of it. But it's minuscule. It's really minuscule from moment to moment, but from day to day, it could add up, especially if you have volume. Now, jumping into commodities, looking at gold, we are bouncing off of that 1950 support. Now, resistance 1994, okay? So I would be trading this versus the U.S. markets because as the U.S. markets have, come down, there's a little bit of a divergence there because the Dow Jones is getting weaker while the NASDAQ is getting stronger. So generally speaking, gold generally accumulates when there's high inflation and also when the Dow Jones goes down. And that is kind of like a mixed message in the States right now when it comes to the U.S. market. So we are trading very choppy. That's the point of me extending this big speech about it. So just be aware of your levels. 1994 is your resistance and 1950 is your support. So just keep that in mind. Now looking at crude oil bouncing off of that support. Also just trading at the bottom of the range at $70 a barrel. Again, not doing much. So I would keep my hands off of it. But jumping into the Dow Jones, we did recede last week from 33,600-ish level back to 33,400-ish level. It's almost a 200-point move. But the markets are really directionless, to tell you the truth. I mean, until we have some sort of extension of we're seeing companies doing well and expanding, we're not going to be able to do that. This is very reminiscent of 2020 in the summer of August, because you saw the tech giants, all of them, okay, just go higher and higher. Well, the rest of the markets kind of did not, but there was a delayed response. So maybe there'll be a delayed response here as well. Now looking at the tech giants, but first looking at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is trading at 13,862, holding up to its, gains in just what? Less than 100 points from its highs of this year. So it's been pretty strong and pretty solid. Now, which stocks have been solid? Let's take a look at it. Microsoft trading at 1318 and holding to its gains. Okay, if we look at CISCO also, CISCO, remember, is a tech giant. This is a monthly, but if you look at a daily, you can see the difference, $45 to up to $49, a big jump in 2 days for such a stock. And then just tapering off towards the end of 20 cents, which is fine, but just keep this in mind, how big of a jump this was for CISCO. Okay, it's a 10% jump in a stock for $1,000, 100 points. So, it's pretty decent as this is accumulated on the upside. Now, what does this mean? So CISCO is a bellwether stock. It's one of those type of stocks that you go to kind of give you some insight of the markets. Yes, when the market expands, especially with the tech stocks, you want to look at Microsoft, the FANG stocks, Facebook, Apple, Google. But CISCO's the hardware kind of stocks. It's the kind of stuff that really needs to go because it's all this, it's B2B kind of business where it's supporting the tech giants. So it's showing that there's expansion in the market if the orders are trickling in across the ripple waves. Now looking at the other parts of the market, lastly looking at Bitcoin, trading at 26,852, just off of its lows of 26,500. We are consolidating here. We have consolidated here. 26,000 is a low. So just this is what it is, okay? It's not trading in a big range. I don't expect any big moves today. So just keep that in mind and trade responsibly. And just because the market's not giving it to you yet, okay? As news does unfold, we're going into May. May is generally kind of like the time where we say, sell in May and go away, because usually big fund managers are going on vacation towards May, June, July, and most of August. So keep that in mind as we're entering the summer months. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.